From the many available footage that's on social media and other media networks, it is very apparent that some of the communities in the path of Hurricane Melissa is actually reduced to rubble and dubbed ground zero. How are they being supported with their recovery processes? Let's look into this situation.
The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me, yeah.
Hello, Wagwan, big up yourself, whether you're there yard or you're there abroad. Welcome back to another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. Now, we've seen a few videos of individuals who are highlighting their need on the channels that they are being interviewed on, and some of the things that are evident in their more rural or sometimes marooned communities. And we understand the plight that they are going through and their need for some of the support that they are asking for.
We have just put hearts and hands together now, and just put God in front of everything and just unite as one people. Put aside all malice and everything and just work together as one unit in order to come out of this. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think the government alone can manage this. Based on the devastation, based on what I'm seeing, it's like none other.
In spite of all of the different news reports that we have seen, we want to highlight some of the things that are actually happening on the ground in terms of the recovery and the support in getting ground zero back to some level of normalcy and the aid that is coming in, so that people are aware and are better able to access these, so that they can address some of the concerns and the personal plight that they're going through and that they're highlighting on the different platforms that we've seen. The first thing that we've want to highlight is the issue of water. Now, we see that a lot of people are going around, and a lot of charities and organizations are going around and providing bottled water so that individuals will be able to have access to those. Also, within the country, the systems are in place and the mechanisms are there to ensure that water is getting to the people, either through bottled water, or it's water that is being pumped with generators or being supplied with trucks, and even emergency pipes and standpipes that are being erected to ensure that people are having access to proper, clean running water that they are able to consume.
The impact to the National Water Commission's operations of Hurricane Melissa is indeed extensive. The disruptions, damage, indeed lost revenue, reduced collections, and cost of relief and restoration will exceed 10 billion Jamaican dollars. The Cabinet has been appraised of all of the issues that affect the Water Commission and has been presented with a restoration and relief plan. That plan includes clearing access to sites, temporary repairs to raw water transmission and distribution pipelines, installation of standpipes in communities without electric power where the water treatment plants in the area have power, trucking of water, both through the Water Commission's own trucks and through members of Parliament and indeed the municipalities, office building repairs, purchase and rental of standby generators. This first phase of our restoration plan will cost 3.25 billion Jamaican dollars.
People are being advised to ensure that they continue to boil water that comes through their pipes or through their storage tanks that comes from NWC water connection or water that they buy into their properties, just to ensure that they are mitigating the possibility of any form of waterborne diseases and illnesses that they can have by consuming it. The second area is food, and in terms of the aid that we're getting, Jamaica is getting aid from the United States of America, it's getting it from other Caribbean countries, it's getting it from the UK, and from other charitable organizations and countries far and wide are supporting the country. And we have lots of local charities as well as international charities that are coming in and supplying the communities with aid. Some of these are being coordinated by their organization on the ground or organization that they're working in collaboration with. Others of them are being coordinated by the government and different organizations or ministries within the government to ensure that people on the ground and the relevant personnel on the ground are getting the things that they need. and that are required. We find that in some cases there are localized centers where people are, that's being used in order to provide these different aid to the individuals, and people within communities are expecting it to come directly to their communities. And so it would be great if they're aware of the fact that it is located elsewhere, because they need to store these things in a place where it's going to keep it dry and it's going to keep it from spoiling and contaminating, and also to ensure that they are coordinating it in such a way that the same people aren't getting the things and people who are in desperate need for it aren't. So it means that people are going to need to come out of their community and go to the communities where these centers of aid are being set up, so that they can go there and get the relevant support and the relevant provisions that they need for themselves, their children, their elderly family members, and so on.
And those people are currently displaced. Police stations, health centers, and all those things have been severely impacted, the infrastructure overall. And so we've been trying to see how we can put a structure in place to distribute relief items, to ensure that they have access to potable water, and medical care. So that has been the focus. And then we have the Adapa Family Initiative, which is to ensure that we can get some containerized housing to some of these family members so they have somewhere to stay.
All right. I was talking to some persons at the bottom of the road. They told me that they're from inside of the community of retirement, but they have come on the main because some of the benefits that are flowing, it's basically staying on the main and it's not reaching to them within the communities. They spoke to me about Belmont Academy, the shelter there where some amount of relief is being distributed. They wanted to know if more stuff would come from down there up here.
So what we're trying to do is to have an area where we can sort things and then distribute it to the communities. That's what we're trying to coordinate. A lot of persons have good intention and we're living off their benevolence, really. But if when they come in, they're just driving and just looking at those that they come in contact with, then we're going to have the same set of persons benefiting repeatedly. What we're trying to do is to ensure that the shut-in, the indigent, the infirm, the disabled, those in the more remote part of the constituency, so that we can get the things packaged and get it to them.
Thirdly, there is a lot of work going on just to ensure that roads and services are being re-established. So in terms of electricity, there's a lot of work going on to just ensure that the electric is being set up, getting rid of poles that have fallen down, reconnecting lines that were broken and damaged, just to ensure that the country is getting back electricity as quickly as possible. Of course, we've been told that JPS is working 24/7 to ensure that it can get up and running as many communities as possible, and they're hoping that some of these communities will be able to get their electric back by about mid-December. Hopefully all of the country can be back on the grid by then, so that people who are having levels of concerns and just the mere lack of electricity that gives them so many opportunities to do things and access different things, store food, for example. We are eating things that you can't store on a fridge, and so you're having to repeat the same cycle of things that you're eating to get ahead. So I understand, even for those people who are using it for business, and the cost it is for those people who have generators to be generating, and people who do have solar panels are having to reduce their use significantly just so that they can get it for the essential things that they need, because there isn't as much sunlight in the day currently, because we're still in the rainy season, and so we're having lots of rain. So all of these things are things that are factoring in, and the roads, people are getting together and ensuring that they're clearing the roads as much as possible so that they can improve the access and allow the emergency vehicle to get to marooned communities. And these are work that are being done on the ground by community members as well as by different organizations that are deployed to make sure that these efforts are being effectively implemented. One of the biggest issue that a lot of people, especially in the diaspora, have been having is the inability to access and communicate with their families who are here, or to get in touch with friends and things like that. And we saw a news report recently where it was highlighting that internet access were made possible in communities like Black River and some of its surrounding communities that have been off grid and have no network connection since the hurricane has passed, and so they have now had some Starlink access in their community that will give them the opportunity to contact their relatives and loved ones so that they can make connection. And the people were so very grateful to be able to have that access to just inform their relatives and loved ones. And of course we know that some of the phone companies as well as other individuals have generators out where they are charging and giving charges. Some of those are paid services that people pay to get their phones and different technology charged up so that they can use them in whenever they have any chance of network coverage. So it's good to know that people are having the access in which they need to communicate with their loved ones and their relatives. It was such a relief for us when we were finally able to get some network and get back on to see some of what's happening, as well as to connect with our family across the UK and friends and other relatives across Jamaica. So it was wonderful to be able to have some level of network ourselves. So I can understand how much that was beneficial to some of the communities that are without network still. The next thing I want to talk about is the healthcare, and there's a field hospital in Black River that has been set up by a charitable organization that came in to the country to do that. And internally, the government is also setting up mobile pharmacies and other facilities like that, and ensuring that the hospital and healthcare facilities are available to give support. You know, Mandeville, Clarendon, Maypen Hospital, these are some of the hospitals that are inundated with people that are coming from different parts of St. Elizabeth and the eastern side of Westmoreland. You have hospitals in St. Anne's that are also getting people who are coming from Hanover and St. James and some aspects of Trelawney to go and get the health care that they need as well. So having this field hospital in Black River is helping to take some of that burden off, and having these mobile pharmacy and healthcare facilities that are going around to communities will also help to ensure that these communities that are in need of certain care but haven't yet been able to go out to get some of it is now going to be able to access it. And they are also ensuring that they're providing medication, especially for those people with communicable diseases. And that is really a relief, because I heard somebody saying the other day that they are concerned that people with diabetes and high blood pressure and things like those might increase the death toll because these people might not be able to get their medication. But at the moment, those are some of the things that are currently being addressed. The sixth thing is education, and some of the schools have already started back, and some of the schools are going to be starting next week. And one of the things that they're also doing is to do so in phases for some of the schools, and making sure that the higher exam years are ensuring that they're going back. And in some cases with primary schools, the years that are going to be doing exams, those ones where schools are not in a position to reopen, they are also sharing with schools that do have the capacity to be able to take them. So some primary schools, they are taking back the exam years and those transition years, like from nursery to year one, and then the other exam years, to make sure that those children are not going to fall behind. And so it means that schools are able to, where one school is able to reopen, they're sending children from other schools to go there so that they can do their learning in that regard, which is quite remarkable because COVID had already had a significant impact due to school closure. And so now we want to try and see how this can be minimized. And it is quite reassuring that the Ministry of Education is considering ensuring that children are going to be getting back into their studies, so that they're not going to be losing out too much from their learning, because at the end of the day the exams are going to be continuing, especially the CXCs, because Jamaica is one of the many countries in the Caribbean that will be doing the CXCs, and it will not be waiting on Jamaica because it will be going ahead. So it's good that the government is looking at ways, the Ministry of Education in particular, is looking at ways to get children back out into education. And the seventh thing we're going to talk about is housing, and it's the fact that a lot of people have lost their housing, and so people need houses where they need to put roof back on. Some people need to build from scratch. Some people have lost their furnishing and lots of other things. And while some people stayed at shelters and some have moved to stay with family or friends, these are temporary things, and so their housing needs is something that is very important and need to be addressed. And so what is happening at the moment is that some people are being supplied with containerized housing at the moment to be able to then be able to reduce the widespread homelessness that is currently in places that have just gotten decimated. And so that's another high point feature to know that these are some of the things that are on the way. Now we know that there are lots of countries who've pledged millions of US dollars to support with some of the provisions that Jamaica need in terms of relief and aid to help with its recovery. And we know that this is something that's going to be going on. It's not just the immediate now, but it's something that's going to be prolonging as we go through the recovery process in the areas that were highly affected. And so these aid need to be planned out and strategically implemented to ensure that all of the people who are in the places where they need the support are getting the support. So whatever way that you can support, make sure you're contacting some of the reputable charities and organizations that are out there. We've already produced a video giving some information as to some of these organizations and the government centered website as well, which is Support Jamaica, and some of the other platforms that you're able to reach out and contact. People on the ground are making sure that they're doing food kitchen. People are going out and delivering foods to more rural communities where people cannot access. But again, not everything is going to come to the communities, because sometimes the central point where they are being distributed is elsewhere. Although they are looking to make sure that they go out to people who are shut in and things like those, some of the people are going to need to come out and access the things that they need. Hopefully this information is helpful to you, to give you some reassurance as to what's happening on the ground, or also to inform some of the individuals who are on the ground of some of the provisions that are being made and how they can make sure that they are going to the relevant centers to get these provisions that they need for their family as they get themselves back on their feet. Do tell us any information you would like to share so that people can access it. Please tell us in the comment section below. Eliona and I are heading out to church this morning. We're going out and taking a walk on the town again. We've been doing it a few times, just going out and see how things are moving along and how things are getting moving, and just where we can get sight of information that we can access and that's available out there, and so we can get on websites and see bits of information that's available and accessible, some to share and some for our own use. So we'll share some of those with you as well. We're going out, and we will take you along with us as best as we can as well on the journey today. Are you looking forward to it? What's the one key thing for you right now that would make a difference?
Buying my mat.
What mat?
My workout mat.
Is it now that you don't get them steps in for school, for go to school, you need to get the workout?
It's a different kind.
Okay, I follow.
Oh, there's screws.
Okay. Oh, those are some of the screws from the taking down of the zinc that was covering the front window. So I'll just need to come out and clean up them screw there tomorrow morning. So let's head off and go. The rain is falling, and every single time I hear the rain fall, I'm worried and concerned for the people in the areas that are now like sunken cities, whether it's in the New River, New Market areas in St. Elizabeth, or Content Manchester, or places like Cave Valley area in St. and other parts where they're having these similar scenarios. I'm so concerned for the fact that, you know, the water in some cases are just sitting and not moving, and then more rain coming, the ground is oversaturated, it can't take any more, and we're having rain and rain and rain still. And so I'm just always having to be moved with compassion for them, and also those people who are in areas where they're going back to try and see how they can, you know, pick up the pieces in terms of housing and accommodation, and they are homeless at the moment, and each time the rain falls, that's just what I keep worrying myself about.
The Jam Fam family. Where Irie living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. The Jam Fam family. Where Irie living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. Jam Fam. The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me, yeah.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on this another episode of Life with the Jam Fam. Bye for now. Do take care and walk good.